Hey, Soul Survivors, I have a viewer topic request, and they are asking, how do I handle difficult relationships? And what if I want this person to go away? So, dealing with family members and people that will stay in your life, we'll start with that. So, when you have a difficult relationship, it can be challenging, especially when people trigger you or won't give you the space that you need. So, we have some strategies that we can do. Reflect on which behaviors, words, or actions kind of set you off. There's a reason you're being triggered, and understanding what triggers you will help you anticipate your emotional responses and be more prepared. Acknowledge your feelings. When you feel triggered, recognize the emotions you're experiencing. Label them without judgment, such as I feel angry, I feel hurt. This awareness can give you a moment of pause before reacting. So pause and breathe. Take a few deep breaths before speaking or reacting. This can kind of help calm your nervous system, and it'll give you some time to choose a response rather than react impulsively. And when you're triggered, you can use grounding techniques like focusing on your senses, what you see, what you hear, even something that you touch. And this can help bring you back to the present moment and reduce emotional overwhelm. There are times that if we can handle our triggers, we can get through the day with our family members and not do that reactive abuse. Also, to set clear boundaries, and you got to communicate these boundaries assertively. Let this person know what you need in a clear and respectful way. For example, I need some space right now, or please don't talk to me in that tone. And if they care about you, they're going to react respectfully. And also, people feed off of the way that you speak to them. So try not to be condescending or full of attitude. I just need some space right now, and take it and stick to these boundaries. They're only effective if they are enforced consistently. So if somebody continues to violate your boundaries, you may need to limit the contact or distance yourself from the relationship. Give them a couple chances, one or two, but don't continue going through emotional dysregulation because they're not willing to work with you. So it is important to use I statements when discussing an issue. You can use I statements to express how you feel without blaming the other person. So you don't put them on the defense. You can handle the situation. So, for example, I feel hurt when I'm ignored instead of you always ignore me. People will react differently and they'll hear you in a different way. This approach reduces defensiveness, encourages open communication, making it more likely that the other person will listen to your concerns, and avoid reacting in the heat of the moment. If you feel overwhelmed, extremely upset, remove yourself. It is okay to walk away. Acknowledge it with them that I'm taking some space. It's better to take a break and revisit this conversation at a later time. It is important to come back around, but it'll help communicate more effectively. And if the person refuses to give you space, be firm about needing time to process your emotions. We're also going to talk if somebody won't leave you alone. But say something like, I can't continue this conversation right now. I need some time to cool down. And then let them know we can revisit this in a little bit of time. Reframe your perspective, change your mindset. Instead of seeing the other person as someone who is out to get you, try to understand their perspective. Use that empathy and what may be driving their behavior. Empathy can help reduce feelings of anger and frustration, and hopefully they return the favor. Narcissists don't have that empathy, so we might have to let those people go, and we'll talk about a safe way to do that. We have to remember we cannot control somebody else's behavior, but we can control how we respond. Choosing responses that align with your values and the person that you want to be. Limit these exposures to toxic people, even if they are family members. So if somebody is consistently toxic, consider whether it's possible to reduce or eliminate this contact. Sometimes that's the healthiest choice. You might need to create distance from people who are causing you harm. There is that gray rock technique. If you cannot avoid contact, for example, with a difficult coworker or family member, you can use the gray rock technique. And this keeps your interactions dull, brief, unemotional. Remember, unemotional, just flap. And it kind of avoids giving them a reaction that fuels their behavior. So you can address them, deadlines at 10, whatever you need to say to them, and don't continue with an argument with them. And practice self-care. Always take care of yourself. Prioritize activities that make you feel good, help you relax, replenish your energy, reflect and process. You can do journaling about your experiences and your emotions so you can kind of understand your reactions and process your feelings. And it is good to talk to people, but when to let go. Sometimes the best way to handle a difficult situation is to recognize when it is beyond saving. If somebody repeatedly violates your boundaries, if they're constantly disrespecting you, or they harm your well-being, it's time to consider walking away. Letting go can be difficult, but it can also create space for a healthier relationship that can contribute positively to your life. And there are times that by not enabling the poor behavior, somebody might be forced to change, and maybe in the future you can revisit the relationship. But if they're not willing to work with you, take some time. So if you don't want a relationship with someone and you want them to leave you alone without causing them to go into an overreactive state, the key is to be clear, assertive, and empathetic. So be honest and direct. State your feelings clearly. It's important to let the person know that you do not wish to pursue a relationship with them. And you can use straightforward, kind, non-blaming language to communicate these feelings. For example, I don't feel that we're compatible and I don't want to continue this relationship. And avoid the mixed messages. Ambiguity can lead to confusion or false hope. So if you're telling somebody, well, I just have a lot going on, I'm working on my master's and I just don't have time for a relationship. So they might hold on thinking that as soon as you're done with school, they can still have a relationship with you. So try not to give false hope or mixed messages. Make sure that your message is clear. Don't leave room for that misinterpretation. Also, here it's important to use I statements, such as, I feel that this relationship is not right for me. You're making me uncomfortable. It is okay to tell people that. And this approach reduces the likelihood of them feeling blamed or attacked, as opposed to saying, you always do this, you always do that. Just say, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm sorry, but I can't be in this type of relationship. Be compassionate, but firm. Show empathy, acknowledge that this may be difficult for them to heal. I understand this might be hurtful, and I'm sorry for any pain that this may cause you, but I have to respect how I feel. Stay firm in that decision. So don't let them talk you back into the relationship. While you want to be compassionate, don't waver or give false hope. Be firm about what you want, even if they try to persuade you otherwise. And that's where we got to build that strength up, and we have to know what we deserve. We deserve to feel comfortable in relationships. There's going to be ups and downs in relationships, but when somebody is toxic to you, sometimes it's just better to avoid those relationships. So communicate these boundaries explicitly. So you can say something like, I don't want to continue communication and I need you to respect my decision. Say that again. I don't want to continue communication and I need you to respect my decision. So if they continue to contact you, respond briefly and consistently, reiterate that you've made your decision and it is final. If necessary, give them one, maybe two times to let them know what your intentions are to end this relationship or not pursue it. And then sometimes just stop responding altogether. If they're not going to absorb it, if they're not going to take it as a fact, then just stop engaging, because it's a no-win situation. And also, by minimizing contact, avoid these situations where you might run into them if it is possible. So if it's somebody you can't completely avoid, whether it's a coworker or acquaintance, you can keep your interactions polite but brief, without encouraging that further conversation. Definitely no mixed signals. Stay calm, avoid arguments, and reaffirm your decision. Do not get drawn into discussions about it. To say it is, just say, I have already made my decision. I'm not pursuing this relationship. And limit emotional reactions. Don't get frustrated or flustered. Keep your responses neutral, to the point, and this will signal, I'm not really open to further discussion or negotiation. Don't let them trigger you into a response. Just keep it at that level. And if necessary, involve a third party. If the person is not respecting your boundaries and continues to contact you, you might want to involve a friend, family member, or somebody that you trust to help communicate these boundaries or even mediate. And sometimes if somebody starts becoming aggressive, you might need to take further action, such as seeking a restraining order or involving law enforcement. Give them a chance, but if they're going to be threatening towards you, definitely stay away, and if necessary, involve the proper authorities and protect your space online. You can block or unfollow. If they try to contact you through social media, you know, uh, if if they don't take it as, if they're not respecting your boundaries or your wishes, it's nice. We can block if necessary. Limit your personal information. Be mindful of what you share. So if you're like, oh, I go to this church or I do this, then they know how to contact you. So maybe not give as much information. Be very mindful of what you share. And don't give in to pressure. If they overreact or they try to make you feel guilty, remind yourself that you have the right to choose who you want in your life. Be firm, even if that's uncomfortable. So ending a relationship or letting someone know that you don't want them in your life can be difficult, but it is important to prioritize your well-being, to protect yourself. There are, people who are toxic or violent, and there are times that not pursuing a relationship is okay. So if you found this helpful, please share if it'll help someone. One-on-ones are available, and thank you for the topic request.